There's something in Todd Monken's comments that, to me, matters way more than any rushed headline. The Browns aren't handing anything to anyone for free at quarterback. And yeah, that includes Shedeur Sanders. Because if you just skim it, it sounds like the usual April coach speak. Everyone's competing. Guys are learning. It's still early. But in Cleveland, context is everything. This team has been trying to fix the most important position in football every way imaginable. Draft picks, blockbuster trades, massive contracts, veteran flyers, development projects, and still hasn't found peace. So when a new coach steps in and starts talking about leadership, finishing drives in the end zone, and who the team actually believes in, he's sketching out what QB1 looks like without naming names. And that matters a lot for Shedeur, because the message isn't Shedeur is close to starting, but it's also not he's just here to hold a clipboard. The message is this: if he shows he can really run the offense, nobody's going to hesitate to throw him into the mix. And honestly, that's more than a lot of people expected when he walked into this situation. What I'm seeing is this: Monken is trying to pull the conversation out of the hype cycle and into actual football function. He basically said quarterback play isn't measured in no-contact practices by a pretty arm, quick release, or clean throws on air. It's about command, processing, real production, moving the chains and making the offense go. And that's huge, because it avoids that classic offseason trap, falling in love with shorts and helmet highlights, and thinking you found the answer. But there's another layer here. When Monken brought up, going back to the combine, that Shedeur has elite-level playmaking ability, that wasn't just filler praise. Coaches don't throw that around lightly. Playmaking isn't just scrambling around. It's turning busted plays into positive gains, processing chaos fast, surviving broken pockets, extending drives, keeping the offense alive. And if there's one thing Browns fans have learned to value the hard way, it's exactly that: someone who can make something out of nothing when everything breaks down. Let's be real, dog pound to dog pound. This team rarely gives quarterbacks an easy life. Even when the roster is solid, the environment around that position is heavy. External pressure, internal expectations, injuries, history. Every snap feels like it's tied to the future of the franchise. So a QB who can create isn't a luxury here, it's survival. Now, does that mean Shedeur is ready? No. And this is where you've got to stay honest. There's a massive gap between making plays in college and running an NFL offense week after week. In this league, windows close faster, pockets collapse harder, defensive coordinators hunt your tendencies, and every mistake costs you drives, games, maybe even a season. So when Monken says there's still a long road ahead, he's not knocking the kid. He's acknowledging the jump from talent to real NFL command. But let's not pretend Shedeur's name doesn't shake things up. He walks in with national attention, confidence, a personality that fills the room, and a play style that fans want to believe in. Someone who looks in control, doesn't shrink under the lights, and can actually give this offense an identity. And that hits even harder because the Browns' QB situation is emotionally wide open right now, even if there's still a technical pecking order. And, yeah, the most delicate piece here is still Deshaun Watson. Let's not sugarcoat it. Monken talking about giving the benefit of the doubt to a guy who's shown elite ability makes sense from a football standpoint, but it doesn't erase reality. This isn't Houston Watson. This is a QB who's barely played since arriving, lost a ton of time, had 2 Achilles surgeries, and is heading into the final year of a fully guaranteed $230 million deal with more questions than answers. That changes everything. If this were just a veteran versus rookie situation, easy call, let the rookie develop. But that's not what Cleveland has. They've got a massively paid veteran trying to prove he's still that guy, and a rookie bringing energy, curiosity, and that what-if feeling. And in the middle of it all is a new head coach with zero emotional attachment to the past, probably ready to push a merit-based culture from day one. That's a volatile mix, not chaos, but every signal is going to get amplified. If Watson shows limited mobility, slow reads, or that hesitation that kills rhythm, the pressure is going to ramp up fast, real fast. Especially since Monken already tipped his hand. He values whoever runs the offense, puts points on the board, and earns the locker room's trust. That's about function, not contracts. And honestly, that's refreshing. Cleveland's been stuck way too long making decisions based on investment instead of what's actually happening on the field. At the same time, you can't turn Shedeur into a fairy tale answer overnight. Browns fans, my people, I get it. We want to believe in something new because what we've seen before hasn't delivered. But throwing a rookie into a shaky environment too early can stall development instead of speeding it up. The smart move? Treat this entire offseason like a real lab. No favoritism for Watson just because of the paycheck. No automatic hype train for Shedeur because he flashes. And no pretending Dylan Gabriel's on equal footing just to keep press conferences clean. I get why they won't say that out loud. It's locker room management. But let's be honest. This thing revolves around Watson and Shedeur. Gabriel's more depth and development, not a legit Week 1 frontrunner. One detail that stands out to me. Shedeur being constantly in the building, and Monken praising his approach. Some folks see that as typical off-season fluff. I don't. Quarterbacks build trust long before kickoff. It starts in meetings, routines, body language, how they absorb coaching, how they carry themselves around teammates. When a coach says it's refreshing to see a player who knows where he is and where he wants to go, that's basically a nod to his professionalism. And that matters even more for a high-profile rookie. The question was never about Shedeur's arm or confidence. It's whether he'd come into the NFL ready to be coached, corrected, and rebuilt in certain areas. If Monken's already buying into his mindset, that's a strong early signal. From a tactical standpoint, if Monken wants a functional offense early, he's going to lean toward someone who processes fast, protects the ball, manages the operation, and converts third downs without needing perfect conditions. If Watson comes back healthy and close to his peak, he's got the edge. Experience and raw talent matter. But if the current version of him stays stuck, Shedeur's style could force its way into the conversation a lot sooner than the front office would publicly admit. Because there's a difference between the biggest name and the guy who actually executes what the team needs right now. And pressured teams usually pivot to the second one faster than they expect. Best case scenario? Watson regains enough mobility, sharpens up mentally, holds the job cleanly, and Shedeur gets to develop without getting thrown into the fire. That gives Cleveland depth, protects the rookie, and builds a bridge toward 2026. Second best, and honestly, the most intriguing, Shedeur accelerates, shows command early, wins over the locker room, and makes the competition impossible to ignore. That would be something new in Cleveland. Positive pressure at quarterback. Not who's left, but who earns it. Worst case? Watson doesn't convince, but also doesn't completely collapse. Shedeur flashes, but isn't consistent enough to take the job outright. That's the classic Browns limbo. Weekly debates, no clear QB1, offense stuck in neutral, season slipping away. There's also a fourth scenario people don't talk about. The biggest win here isn't a starter, it's a culture shift. A new coach proving that reputation doesn't move the ball, contracts don't convert 3rd and 8, and talk doesn't score touchdowns. If that holds through camp and preseason, that alone is progress for this franchise. My take? I like how Monken handled it. He didn't kill the hype around Shedeur, but he didn't sell a dream either. And most importantly, he nailed the core truth. Quarterback is about function, not marketing. Command, execution, production, and trust. And if you ask me right now, who's most likely to shake this thing up? No hesitation. It's Shedeur. Not necessarily because he'll start Week 1, but because he's the only truly new ascending piece in that room. Watson is trying to reclaim something from the past. Shedeur is trying to build something that doesn't exist yet. And for a team desperate for direction, sometimes what's being built carries more weight than what used to be. But Browns fans gotta stay grounded. If he looks good in practice, don't crown him. If he struggles in preseason, don't bury him. QB development isn't linear, especially in Cleveland. At the end of the day, this isn't just about a press conference quote. It's about the Browns quietly admitting that the job belongs to whoever actually makes the offense go. And honestly, after everything we've been through at that position, that's exactly what we needed to hear. So, let me throw it back to you. Dog pound. No contracts, no politics, no noise, Just ball. Who are you riding with for 2026? Watson finding it again? Or Shedeur building something new?